Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So in this video I wanted to start a series of videos where I talk about the super extreme monsters in Monster Strike. And yeah, I thought they would be a good, kind of subsection of the monsters to talk about because I find them really interesting and a lot of fun to go after. And then also there's few enough of them that I can talk about all of them at some length. But yeah, what they are is that they are new quests, kind of in between extreme and impossible difficulty level. And some nice things about them: if you beat them without continues, you get a guaranteed drop. If you lose, you can spend orbs to continue. Another nice thing about these monsters is that there are two versions of them, the Evolution and the Ascension. That's another thing Impossibles don't have. Another thing is that they appear more regularly or more quickly in the library. We're starting to get maybe a couple impossible monsters in the library, but the super extremes are appearing much more frequently. And then they are easier in many cases than the impossible quests, and also they take less materials to evolve. So yeah, lots of kind of special characteristics about these super extremes. And yeah, today I'll just talk about Wave 1. That's the first 5 super extremes, one for each element. So yeah, we'll just go in through here. And this is a McComb Evolution. I say this every time, but she's one of my new favorite characters. And she is a Pierce with a Minesweeper. Average stats, and then average bump combo, the poison spread. But she does have the 8-turn null everything. So that's pretty crazy. So that makes her naturally good for certain quests like Marishten, Memento Mori, Kushinada 0. But if you're creative with her, you could take her to lots of places, like the regular Kushinada, or even quests off element as well. Yeah, and I think she's one of the very first characters with that 8-turn null everything with a null ability, so she's pretty good there. And then I am looking to make the max luck of her someday. I think depending on your playstyle, maybe that would determine whether a max luck of her would be good for you as well. But if you like that 8-turn null everything, then I would say go after that. And then if we look at her Ascension version, the Ascension version is not that special, I would say. She's a bounce with a null damage wall, and then the recovery S on the passive in her, so there's no crazy gauge for her. But I found that for, maybe especially for fire element, but for all elements in particular, bounce null damage wall characters, you don't really need a max luck of them. You could maybe just get the 1 drop of her and that would be enough. But yeah, making the max luck of her is not necessary at all. Too bad too, since her artwork is pretty cool. Okay, so that was Fire, McComb. Next up is Sheba, and we'll look at the Evolution version. She is a bounce with no warp, and then she is alike to Lilith Evolution in a lot of ways. Stats are very similar, actually, and then same strike shot, which is the Meteor Strike Shot. And that can be really good for Avalon or Izanagi. So you can use them pretty much in the same way. And then I would say that Sheba has the better bump combo. It's the short range spread, and it's at full power, so about 4,000. So that's pretty strong, actually. There is one important place where Lilith is better than Sheba, and that is in Hikaru Genji. Hikaru Genji is a demi-hume, and then Lilith has Demi-Hume Slayer. So for that quest, in particular, I would recommend Lilith above Sheba. And then another nice thing about Lilith is that you are just given one, the Evolution version, when you beat a certain trial. So you're already well on your way, and you don't really need Sheba. If you like to use a Meteor Strike Shot in Avalon, then Lilith is going to be just good enough. So yeah, I'm kind of confused about what their thinking was behind the design of Sheba Evolution. But there she is. If you really love that bump combo like I do, then that might be worth making the max luck for. The Ascension version, though, is pretty different. And she picks up no block in addition to no warp, so that's pretty good. And then her strike shot is the speed and power up. And then the speed and power up, and then also the no block makes her really good for Arcadia. So yeah, Sheba is really good for Arcadia. If you were to make a max luck of just one, I would say do this one. But that's also only if you're interested in making the max luck of Arcadia. And that's going to be very few people, I think. Bump combo is pretty standard. It's a rebound spread and then the meteor destruction. So yeah, Sheba Evolution I wouldn't really recommend over Lilith, and Sheba Ascension only for people that are going after Arcadia, which will be very few people. Okay, and then the wood monster, the first super extreme here is Joy Abaddon. Here's the evolution version. He has a bounce with flight and then wood resistance. And then we're seeing the resistance become more and more useful these days, especially in Colossal quests. He is a balance type, but he has kind of power type stats. High HP, decent attack, and then low speed. And then the reason why I want to use him is for his lock-on one-way laser. And then he was the first drop monster to have a full power lock-on one-way laser. And yeah, if you know me, you know that I love this bump combo, especially in drop monsters. So like Rotbone or Satellite or Babel, those are all good characters. And then Joy Abaddon, his lock-on one-way laser is stronger than all of those other guys. So if you're like me and you like to use a max luck with a strong bump combo in levels, like easy levels like Dragon Gems or farming for Divine Charles, Joy Abaddon could be a good max luck for there. Then the Ascension, similar but different, becomes a Pierce, has Minesweeper instead of Flight, so that's nice. And then he has a Demon Slayer, so that'll work on, of course, demons, which appear in many quests. He is a Blast type, and then he has the Energy Circle M, which as a Blast type becomes the same, has the same attack damage as the L. But the M I feel like is easier to aim than the L, so I really like this bump combo. And then his Slayer is passive in him, so the Slayer will also go into that Blast bump combo. And then the Strike Shot is the Explode on first contact, so that's good damage source there as well. And this guy is cool, and he could be good for Yamato Takeru Zero. But for me, I actually prefer bounce characters for Yamato Takeru Zero, so Joy Abaddon might be the better choice here. And then he's also got that, you know, easy quest niche. So yeah, I'll be looking at making the max luck of the evolution, and then maybe have just one drop of the Ascension just because he looks cool. Alright, so that was Joy Abaddon. And then for light, we have Hikaru Genji. We'll look at the evolution version first. And then he is one of my favorites. I will definitely want to make him. He is a Pierce with no gravity barrier and the Blast Bomb combo. And that's kind of the three things that I look for in a max luck when I'm farming a lot of easy quests. Again, like Dragon Gems or Divine Charles or whatever. And the reason for that is because being a Pierce, he can get around easily. Having no gravity barrier, he won't be slowed by the gravity barriers. And a lot of those easy quests have gravity barriers in them, so he can get through those. And then the Blast Bump combo is to help get out other people's bump combos. So when you are using Hikaru Genji as a max luck, your other team members, you want them to have strong bump combos, so that Hikaru Genji can hit all of them and get out the bump combos, and then beat the levels quickly. So yeah, I'm looking at making the max luck of him for that. The Ascension, he becomes a bounce, and then I would say he's really good for Tsukuyomi, Yomi, and then Hakua. But yeah, he would be good in Hakua. He does have the speed up, and then yeah, in Hakua you need to hit, you know, all of the guys in one turn, and then having the speed up could help with that. And Hikaru Genji is one of the very few characters, drop characters with speed up. So if you're interested in making other max lucks as you're hunting for Hakua, then Hikaru Genji would be one of the best for that. I will not be making the max luck of the Ascension, I think, but yeah, he would be pretty good. And then finally, for Shadow, let's look at Barojika. Here is the evolution form. And then I would say the only thing that he has going for him is the Pierce, Null Warp, Null Damage Wall. There are very, very few drop monsters with that Null ability Sling style combination. The others being like Avalon, and yeah, those guys are hard to get. Barojika is the easiest to get with this, combination. His bump combo and his strike shot are not that special, neither are his stats. But if you wanted somebody with, again, that Sling style Null ability combination, he's your guy. The Ascension is more interesting because he is good for Eden. He is a Pierce with a Null Warp only. And then his bump combo is stronger. He's got the super piercing spread. And then he has a strike shot, 12-turn strike shot, where he becomes invincible for that turn and then the next turn. And yeah, if you've used Hattori Hanzo, then you know this is pretty useful strike shot. The turn that he uses that strike shot, he becomes immune to damage walls and mines. So every third round, he's immune to damage walls and mines. Maybe not a whole bunch of situations where that comes in handy, but it's good to know. And then, if you know that there's like a high damaging attack coming the next turn, you can use that to protect you the next turn. So that's pretty useful, especially in Eden where there are some attacks that are very damaging. Okay, but that was a quick look at the first wave of Super Extreme monsters. And yeah, of all of the Super Extreme monsters that we've seen so far, I would say the first wave has the most that would be worth making the max luck of. Mikumo Evolution, Joyaberun Evolution, and Hikaru Genji Evolution. And so yeah, that's 3 out of the 5 that are worth making. And then also the first wave of Super Impossibles are easier than the later waves. So that really works out. Alrighty, in the future I will talk about the second and third waves and beyond of the Super Extremes. And yes, please look forward to those. Alright, we'll see you again. Take care.